You're watching South Asian Newsland, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 28th of August. Protesters block train tracks, buses in India's West Bengal. Pakistan PM Sharif says militant attacks target China cooperation, Beijing offers continued support. And UN backs Yunus-led interim government amid Bangladesh political crisis. And now for all the details. Hundreds of protesters blocked roads and railway tracks and forced shops to shut down on Wednesday in the eastern Indian state of West Bengal. This is the latest in the series of protests that have rocked the state since the rape and murder of a trainee doctor. On Tuesday, police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse protesters who were marching towards the state secretariat demanding the resignation of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. The BJP, the main opposition party in the state, called for a 12-hour statewide strike on Wednesday to protest against what it described as police atrocities. Police detained several prominent leaders, and media reports indicated that several others were injured in sporadic incidents across the state. According to state police officials, around 5,000 police personnel were deployed to prevent violence in West Bengal. The attack on the 31-year-old doctor has sparked nationwide outrage reminiscent of the widespread protest following the 2012 gang rape of a 23-year-old student on a moving bus in New Delhi. The opposition party has accused Banerjee's administration of trying to suppress the rape and murder case, a charge the state government has denied.
एकदम पश्चिम बंगाल में लॉ एंड कुछ नहीं है और एक महिला को जस्टिस नहीं दे पाया, उसके पुलिस छात्रों के ऊपर लाठीचार्ज किया है। लाठीचार्ज के कल जैसे रूप कोलकाता ने देख लिया, पूरा देश ने देख लिया है। ये साबित हो गया है कि ममता बनर्जी महिला को जस्टिस नहीं देंगे, दोषी को बचाने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
देखिए आरजी कौर में जो हुआ है, वी ऑल वांट जस्टिस, लेकिन जस्टिस देने का अभी जस्टिस कौन डिलीवर करेगा? जस्टिस का रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है सीबीआई का और केस है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। तो यहाँ पर बंगाल में एनआरकी तैयार करके कौन का किसका फायदा है? वो तो भाजपा पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड वे से यहाँ पर गोलमाल कर रहे हैं।
Meanwhile, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar on Wednesday welcomed his Chilean counterpart Alberto Juan Claverin for the India-Chile Joint Commission meeting and stated that the two nations have a lot to discuss. He said that India deeply values Chile's participation in the Voice of Global South summits and praised Chilean President Gabriel Boric for his insightful remarks at the third Voice of Global South summit. Both the leaders also exchanged views on global hotspots and developments in each other's regions. Claverin, while speaking to ANI, termed India as a very important partner for Chile and hoped to advance bilateral ties to comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Chile was the first nation to have a partial scope agreement with India in force since 2007. This agreement was extended in 2017 when India granted tariff preferences for 1,110 Chilean products. Claverin is in India for a 2-day visit and will depart to Mumbai after the meeting. Moving on. Reacting to the militant attacks in Pakistan's Balochistan province, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Tuesday said that the incident was aimed for stopping development projects that form part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC). The attacks claimed by Balochistan Liberation Army killed over 70 people and were the most widespread in years by ethnic militants seeking to win secession of the resource-rich province, home to major China-led projects such as a port and a gold and copper mine. Sharif said the militants want to stop CPEC and other development projects, adding that the militants also want to drive a wedge between Islamabad and Beijing.
पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर के तहत जो बलूचिस्तान में और पाकिस्तान के दूसरे हिस्सों में जो मंसूबे चल रहे हैं उनको रोका जा सके और पाकिस्तान और चीन के दरमियान फासले पैदा किए जा सके.
Meanwhile, the family of 31-year-old Asif Iqbal, who was killed in the attack, mourned his loss and was seen grieving clutched to a photo of Asif and questioned why he was killed.
आप अंदाज़ा नहीं कर सकते वो मंजर क्या था, अपने भाई को ऐसी हालत में देखना बहुत बुरा मंजर था, ऐसे उसकी आंख बाहर आई हुई थी, उसका मुंह फट गया था, उसके दांत टूट गए थे, उसका क्या कसूर था।
China has also strongly condemned the attack and said that it will continue giving strong support to Pakistan in promoting counter-terrorism operations. CPEC, said to have development commitments worth $65 billion, is part of Chinese President Xi Jinping Belts and Roads initiative. Pakistan has not been able to fully build the infrastructure needed to tap mineral resources in poverty-stricken Balochistan and has sought China's help in developing the province.
我们注意到了有关报道，对有关恐怖袭击事件予以强烈谴责，对遇难者表示深切的哀悼。中方坚决反对一切形式的恐怖主义，将继续坚定支持巴方推进反恐行动，维护社会团结稳定，保护民众安全。中方愿同巴方进一步加强反恐安全合作，共同维护地区的和平。
And Taliban on Tuesday emphasized that neighboring and regional countries have been unable to provide evidence of any threats originating from Afghanistan and said that Afghanistan poses no threat to other nations. The Taliban also declared that ISIS has been eradicated in Afghanistan with the group's activities reduced to zero. The regime said the accusations are baseless and unfounded and said that Taliban has the best relations with neighboring countries. The regime also hoped to strengthen the relations. Pakistan has long blamed that Afghanistan provides safe havens to terrorists, an accusation Islamic Emirate denies. Meanwhile, the United Nations on Tuesday expressed optimism that the interim government led by Bangladeshi Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus will do everything possible to ensure that the rule of law and justice are upheld. Addressing a media briefing, UN Secretary-General spokesman Stephen Dujarric stated that the interim authorities assumed power during an extremely challenging time for the country, both politically and in terms of humanitarian issues. They will do whatever they can to ensure that the rule of law and justice are followed, he added. The UN spokesperson's remarks were in response to a query regarding the murder case filed against Bangladeshi cricketer Shakib Al Hasan. The all-rounder, who was elected as an MP from Hasina's Awami League, was charged along with 146 others for the death of a garment factory worker. However, the charges have been criticized as Shakib was abroad during the students' movement that led to a downfall of the Hasina's government. The Bangladesh Cricket Board, the governing body for the sport in the South Asian nation, has stated that the star all-rounder will continue to play until he is proven guilty. Moving on. The Maldives Police Service has launched an investigation into allegations that the opposition attempted to stage a coup d'etat following the Bank of Maldives' decision on Sunday to suspend foreign transaction allowances on debit and credit cards linked to Moldavian rupiah accounts, local media outlet Maldives Republic reported. In a statement, the police noted that the decision by the state-owned Bank of Maldives coincided with a press conference held by the opposition Moldavian Democratic Party addressing the government's financial situation. Authorities also revealed that at the same time, hundreds of bot accounts were active on social media, urging residents to take to the streets to overthrow the Muizu government. Although the changes announced by the bank have been rescinded, the bank stated that the decision was initially made in response to the escalating usage of foreign currency on cards and the static sale of foreign currency to the bank. Notably, credit rating agency Fitch downgraded the Maldives rating to CCC Plus in June and warned that the archipelago nation could be heading towards a sovereign default after its foreign currency reserves dropped to $492 million in May. And 2 people from India's Rameshwaram went missing after their unregistered boat capsized in Indian waters while they were engaged in fishing in the mid-sea in the wee hours of Tuesday. The boat had 4 persons on board and the other 2 were later rescued by Sri Lankan Navy. The Indian Navy and the Indian Coast Guard have deployed rescue units to locate the missing fishermen. According to the officials, the fishermen, while returning to the shore, encountered rough waters that damaged the boat, causing it to capsize. Fishermen from both the countries frequently stray into each other's territory while netting their catch and end up spending years in jail. This year alone, more than 200 Indian fishermen have been apprehended for illegal fishing. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.